Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to do this video. It's going to be a Q&A video. So I was considering doing a Q&A for my 7-year anniversary. It was actually January 9th. So it is still this week. That is my 7-year anniversary. I can't believe I've been making videos for 7 years. Yeah, my first video went up January 9th of 2016. And it literally has flown by. Like I don't feel like I've been doing it that long, and yet it also feels like it's always been a part of my life. So it's a really weird thing like that, but yeah, and I just have been like slowly growing over the past couple of years, and it's just been so wonderful to have all of you here on my channel. I have done other Q&As already in the past, so I will link those down below, and there may be some questions that overlap. I'm gonna try not to answer questions I've already answered before, but I may have forgotten as well. But all of the Q&As I've ever done will be down below. I've done 2 main ones, and then I have done one with my sister, and then I've done a couple like book tag question ones that are more about my personal reading habits. So I'll link those below too if you want to see more. I did ask on Instagram and on the community tab for questions. So thank you everyone who submitted a question. I think I can answer all of them, the ones that are relevant. So I do have Booktube/book questions. I'll do those first. And then I've got personal questions and faith questions, and I'll do those after. So I'll try to put a timestamp. I am also going to put like a screenshot of the person who asked the question. So that's exciting that we can do that. Let's get into this. Here we go. Okay, first question is, what made you do a YouTube channel about Christian videos and the Bible? So it was not my original plan. I did start out making like normal book videos that were all about YA and the most popular books. Like I was reading a little bit of Christian fiction, but I discovered Christian fiction while I was here on Booktube. So that's when I really started sharing a lot of it. So it just kind of happened. It's where my reading taste took me. And then I naturally started sharing those books on my channel, and it made sense to make like, I guess, Christian videos out of that. And then the more like personal videos, I guess, I think I've always kind of related anything personal I talk about to books, but I have done a couple like Bible verse videos and like sharing my favorite book of the Bible. So I do have a couple videos like that. And those were really just spontaneously. I was like, oh, I feel like sharing this. And so I did. But yeah, it wasn't my original plan, but now here we are, and I love it. Okay, next question. What's your favorite video you've done on your channel so far? And this was hard because I really enjoy making videos, so sometimes I even watch my own videos just to like get ideas and like, I don't know. But the one that does mean a lot to me is Christian fiction books that have encouraged my faith. So I'll link it down below. It is a really special video just because I shared like some more personal things in it. These books like really impacted me and made a huge difference in my life. So it was a little emotional talking about them, but I'm just like really proud of that video. And since it did so well, it's inspired me to make videos along those lines as well. It seems like people are interested. So that makes me really happy because I do love to share those kind of things. So I think that is right now my favorite video, but I love a lot of videos, so it's hard to pick one. But next question, have you ever had years where you didn't read much, or have you always read a lot? Definitely I did not read much at all before I started Booktube. I was reading probably like 15 books a year, not a month. I almost said a month. 15 books a year before I started, so like 2015 and later. And then when I started in 2016, I think I read like 60 something books. And I was like amazed. And then in 2017, I read 100 books, and then I continued to read 100 books after that. So Booktube is very motivating. And then I really just realized that I like love to read, and it's a really good stress reliever for me. So, okay, this is a good question. How do you manage to make videos, read, and keep up other booktuber videos, like watching them? Yeah, so I think a couple factors go into this. Number one, if I can multitask at any point, I'm watching YouTube. So I know a lot of people read audiobooks or listen to audiobooks while they're multitasking. I watch YouTube. I am starting to listen to audiobooks more. I've been trying to get more comfortable with that medium. I just enjoy watching YouTube. So that's like my TV. And then reading is definitely like, I don't actually read fiction every day. Sometimes I do, but usually my reading is in like bursts, and then I like read a lot in a short amount of time. And I tend to be a fast reader, but so that like makes up for me not reading every day. So there's that. And then making my own videos, it really helps to make a plan. So in my bullet journal, I have an entire calendar laid out, and I plan out my videos for the month, and so that I know when I need to film them. If I know that one video is going to like take a little bit more planning and more effort, then I know that I need to plan for that before the date I want it to go up. So I do that, and I mean, I'm single. I don't have anything else to do. I live with my sister and we have a great time, but I don't have a ton of friends I hang out with outside of work and this. I do have two like really close friends, and we meet up like every couple weeks. And so, you know, I don't have like a super active outside of this social life to keep up with. And then like a lot of my hobbies are just for me, so I don't need to like, I don't require anyone else to do my hobbies. I know that it's not going to be like this forever, but for now I do have a lot of time to do it, and so that's why. Okay, next question. Who or what has been your greatest motivation in reading clean books? And yeah, this is a good question. The Holy Spirit. Because if it was up to me, like I started reading more graphic romance books when I was in high school, and I would have continued if not for the conviction of the Holy Spirit. So that was the main reason. And then I stopped reading them for a while, found other things like Twilight and all the YA stuff. And then in university, like when I started with Booktube as well, the desire started to come back, and I, you know, dabbled in it, and I felt like very guilty about it. And then the Holy Spirit again, like taught me a lot in that process. And I just finally came to the conclusion that the temptation to read them is not enough for me to read them and then feel the effects of them after. Does that make sense? Like I finally was like, I know how bad this is for me. I have to stop it. No matter how tempted I am, I cannot give in. And I finally, it's like not necessarily a struggle anymore. I definitely like, you know, the thought comes like, maybe I should just try this book, but I don't act on it because I know what the outcome will always be. And so yeah, but it started with the Holy Spirit, because otherwise I would not have cared. I would have just kept reading them. Okay, next question. If you could read only one author, who would it be? If you could only read one author. Francine Rivers. Yeah, I just wish she put out books more often. I know that she like, her books are quite the experience. So it takes her usually 2 years is when it, how long it takes between her books. And so, but they're always so good, and I'd be so sad not to read them. So I'm just gonna say Francine Rivers. Okay, what is a book you could reread over and over again? I mean, My Hope Next Door, Love and a Little White Lie, Tammy Gray. And what is your favorite historical fiction book? This doesn't specify if it was romance or not. My favorite like historical romance writer is Julie Klassen, although I really have not read that many, so like other authors. So there might be one that I would really connect with that I just haven't read yet. Yeah. Okay, I should have put this with the clean books that I already talked about question, but it's fine. Do you have an approach on finding closed door / clean fiction books regardless of genre? Yes, I do. Okay. So first of all, if it's an author I've never heard of and I know that it's not published by a Christian publisher, my guard is up immediately, and I don't necessarily give it a chance unless there's like just enough things that I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give it a chance. So there's that. So publisher makes a huge difference if I've heard of the author. And then if I've seen reviews for it on Booktube, depending on who reviewed it and liked it, will determine if I probably or not should read it. So there's certain booktubers I follow. I don't follow only Christian fiction booktubers, and they like get me exposed to a lot of other genres and content that I don't personally seek out myself. And so I am aware of the new releases coming out and the types of books out there that are popular. There's some very, very popular authors, especially through TikTok and stuff. And based on like the words people use to describe their books, I'll know if I should never pick them up or not. Like basically anything to do with spicy romance scenes, for sure won't read that. And then I don't love some romance tropes. There's some romance tropes that I'm like, "Oh, I really don't care about that. I don't like those tropes." So if a book's just described as that and I don't know the author, then I probably won't pick it up. I do look at Goodreads. I look at reviews of the book and like what people are saying. And I just like look for the people I trust, and then also the people who I know we don't have similar book tastes. And if they like a book, I probably won't like it. So I use that as a gauge. And then I kind of just trust my gut. Like I have a fairly good radar if I'll like a book or not, and if it's going to be clean or not. I really trust that. And sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. But for the most part, I do focus on if it's like a Christian publisher, Christian published, because that's supposed to be clean, you know? Sometimes there's some outliers, but anyways. But yeah, that is the process that I use. I'm always thinking about that because pretty much if I'm not reading a book published by a Christian publisher, you never know the content that you can get, especially if it's adult. So I am quite aware of that. Okay, and last book question is, what book series do you recommend for young adults and or adults? And I'm gonna say the Delusion trilogy by Laura Gallier. I feel like adults and young adults would like this because it is technically a young adult story, but it's about a very interesting like spiritual warfare aspect that I think adults would really enjoy as well. Because it follows younger characters, will be appealing for young adults, but then the topics and the content are like really good and deep, and I think adults would like it too. So let's do personal questions, and then I'll do faith questions at the end. Okay, number 1, who's your favorite person you live with right now? My sister sent this in, and it was so funny because, so this is my sister. Her name's Cassandra. Hello. Follow her on Instagram if you want. She's gonna love that. Okay, and then Bailey, literally, they didn't talk about this, but Bailey is like, who's your favorite subscriber from West Virginia? And I just thought it was so funny that they both sent a question in like that, because it just made me feel like, oh, Bailey, you're so great. Like, it's like we're family. Bailey, I don't know if I have any other subscribers from West Virginia, but if I don't, you are my favorite. And thank you very much for the question. Okay, next is go-to pizza order. Hawaiian. Can you believe it? I love pineapple on pizza, and I used to hate it. But something when I'm like matured into my adulthood, I was like, I'm gonna try it. And I tried it and I was like, what have I been missing my whole life? And now it's my favorite. And I would choose to eat Hawaiian pizza over any other pizza. If you had like just a tray of pizzas, I would choose Hawaiian. Amazing, right? So yeah. Okay, and next, do you feel called in your life to be a mom at some point? Okay, a bit of a change from pizza. Yes. Do I feel called? Yes. And in a way, I'm kind of already living a bit of that role, like loosely. I am the oldest of 4 kids. So I have 3 younger siblings. The job that I work with young people. So it feels like more so it feels like sistering. I see that myself as an older sister, but a lot of like mother roles are there as well. I think I'll be a mom someday, but I can't guarantee that. And right now it's looking like it's gonna be a while. So I don't know. Okay, next. Do you struggle being single? If so, how do you work on the struggle? Yes, I do. I definitely do. I'm 29 years old. I'm turning 30 this year. And I have always wanted to be in a relationship since I could think about relationships. Like, yeah, like in elementary school, I would like have crushes on boys and be like, it'd be so nice to be together. But at the same time, I'm so guarded. I'm very guarded, especially with dudes, because I just don't trust them. I've had some experiences where I'm like, really? How dare they? So yeah, I've never come close to being with a guy. So that makes it sad for me when I just feel like I'm aging out of the system. But I know that's not true, and I pray about it a lot. And like lately, I mean, since this new year started, I was like, maybe this year will be a year. I don't know. So how I work on the struggle is I pray a lot. And I really ask God to check my heart. Like if I'm desiring a relationship more than being renewed by him, nothing is more important than my personal relationship with God. And I forget that sometimes, and my heart forgets that. And so I really try to make sure my heart is aligned in that way. And I mean, the desire is still there. So God sees me. He knows what is good for me, and he has always provided in the right time for my needs. And I've gone through waiting periods before. This is just a really long one, and lots of people in the Bible have gone through waiting periods, so I'm not alone. And one major comforting thing, actually, which might be kind of sad, but I think Lisa Turkhurst said this. She said, the loneliness you feel in singleness is nothing compared to the loneliness you can feel in a marriage. Feeling lonely in a marriage is way worse than feeling lonely as a single person. And I completely agree with that. I could totally picture how terrible it would feel to feel like your marriage is like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like being lonely in the marriage. That sounds terrible to me, and I would rather be single than have a bad marriage. So that is a comfort for me. Like I don't just want anyone. I don't want to just be married for the sake of being married. I really want a good partner for life. And so I do keep that in mind and just think like whoever I'm going to be with is out there waiting for me too, and we just aren't ready to meet yet. So that's how I deal with it. Okay. Lighten the mood a bit. What's a random fact about yourself that us subscribers probably wouldn't know? I am not good at random facts because I feel like I'm pretty basic, but I am left-handed. Did you guys know that? I think some of you already knew that. You've seen me like write before in videos. But yes, I'm left-handed, but I am right-footed. So I kick with my right foot. But I like eat and write and brush my teeth and like put on makeup with my left hand. Yeah. Okay. Next, what is your favorite song currently? Dreamers by Jungkook. And I forget the other guy's name, but it's like the opening song for FIFA, the World Cup. It's a really great song. Cool music video. I'll link the music video down below. It's like weird, but like great. Such a good message. And I'm loving the song. I listen to it every day. So yeah. And then if you didn't make book related videos, what kind of videos would you want to make? I have thought about this. I would either do some kind of fitness lifestyle or like Bible study, I think. More leaning towards the fitness lifestyle because doing Bible study videos I think would be quite, like I put a lot of pressure on myself to like be perfect, which isn't good for me. So yeah, but I would love to like share. I love Bible study. I love doing that. And I love sharing what I learn in the Bible. But it has to be like, I have to just make sure there's no expectations on myself. So yeah, but anyway, that's what I would do, but I probably won't. So next question, are you a music lover? If so, what is your current go-to artist? Yes, I love music. I love music. So I've been into Mike Donahue. I don't know how to say his last name. He was the lead singer of 10th Avenue North. He was the lead singer of 10th Avenue North, and they like dissolved, but he put out a solo album and it's really good. The song Breathe In, Breathe Out, I love. So right now, I mean, yeah, I also listen to that song every day. So there you go. If you could travel around the world, what would your first stop be and why? Oh, if I could travel around the world. I'm not a huge travel person. I get anxiety when I travel, so that's annoying. But I would love to visit my friends in the States. So I'd probably start with that, like do a full-on visit all my YouTube friends in America. And then next would be France. I would really like to go to France just because it seems so beautiful and I could practice French there. You know, I have a bit of trauma from French, but maybe France could redeem all of that. And then it would be very profound to go to Israel and see some of the places that Jesus was and like see some of the original stuff. That would be amazing too. Okay, some of these personal questions bleed into the faith questions, so whatever, I'll just kind of lump them together. So then what is something the Lord has shown you or taught you this year that you feel has made a big impact on your life? Yes, so, oh right, oh my, I'm so dumb. Okay. Last year, I feel like God taught me a lot about how to care for myself in more ways than I was before, and how he like is more interested in my overall peace and health than if I'm doing everything right. So it was kind of like a freedom walk for me. My word of the year was freedom last year, and I definitely saw that play out in my life. So that was really beautiful. And I still feel like it is happening this year. I still feel like that is a lesson that I still need to learn. So I'm hanging on to it and just trusting that this is God's way for me. So I love that. And then was there a book that went along with that lesson? Not really, other than the Bible. So yeah. Okay. Did you like school when you were a teenager? Yes and no. I liked learning. I liked being in the classroom. I loved learning the material. But socially and academically, it was a struggle. I had to work very hard. I'm not naturally smart. If I want to do well at something, I have to try really hard. So yeah, it was tough. And then socially was just the drama, man. Oh, it was tough. So I would not want to go back. But I loved learning. I loved the learning environment, and that's why I wanted to be a teacher. So see how that went. Okay, next, do you think Gilmore Girls is the greatest TV show of all time, or are you wrong? I'm wrong because I've never watched it and I have no interest in it. I'm sorry. That's all I'm gonna say on that. And then what TV shows have you watched multiple times? Stranger Things, but otherwise, oh, and Star Trek. Yeah, Star Trek, Stargate, and Stranger Things. I do like sci-fi shows a lot. Okay, that was it for personal. On to the faith ones. Okay, these ones are gonna take me a little while to answer because some of them are deep, okay? How old were you when you got saved? I was born into a Christian home and my mom homeschooled us, so I was learning about Jesus at a very early age, and I don't remember ever not knowing that he was real because my mom told me he was real. And so I definitely have memories of asking God into my heart. I don't really have an age or a date, and I'm really thankful for that. I know that's not a lot of people's experience, but I was just very blessed to be born into that kind of family. So yeah. Next is favorite Bible verse. And I don't know if I could pick one, but when I filmed this video last time, I said Hebrews 13, just because, and it's certain verses. I'll pull it out. I'll write the verse down below, but I'll just tell you the exact verses. So it's Hebrews 13 verses 20 and 21. This was one of my verses of the year a couple years ago, and it just says everything that I want my life to be. It includes our calling. It includes Jesus. He's our shepherd. And I just love that it is like a prayer as well. So, but also I really connected with Psalm 27 when I was in university, and I ended up memorizing it. So that one's also very special just because I have a lot of memories throughout my life where, because I memorized it, I was able to like say it to myself for so many different things. So that was really special too. Okay, this person asked a couple questions. I'm gonna answer the who is Jesus to you question. So Jesus, and actually this goes along with another question. Yeah, okay, I'll put up the other question too. How do you know that God is there? Or put differently, why do you believe? How can you encourage others to believe? So to me, this goes along with who Jesus is. So It took me a long time to get past the like mental barrier that I was like talking to someone I couldn't see. I am kind of a literal person, and I also trust my gut a lot. And so if neither of those are like helping me out understand something, I have a very hard time getting on board with something. So it took me a long time to decide that I believed that no matter what, God was real and that I could have a relationship with Jesus, because there are times when it's like silent and it's like, what am I doing? I'm praying to nothing. And the thing is, I realized that my perception, my thoughts, me is just one person, and I can't determine what the truth is. I don't have enough information. And I realized that the Bible is the only source of truth that I can be sure about, and it never changes. So if I'm feeling wishy-washy or unsure, I can go to the Bible, and that is always where the truth will be. And that gave me a lot of comfort, because in particular, the verse John 14:6, where Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. That verse got me through a lot of fear that I was believing something crazy and that maybe I wasn't doing enough. Maybe there's a reason that things were harder for me to understand. And I just was like, no. Jesus is always the answer. If I just cry out to him, if I put my hope and trust in him, then things will be okay. And I can leave it at that, go about my day, and the peace that I'm looking for comes from him. So I will just trust and wait for that. So that is how I've like been able to believe at times when I don't feel anything. Now, I have felt things. I have felt God speak to me. I have had so many experiences where he just clearly reaches out to me and answers the cry of my heart so directly that there's no possible way it's a coincidence. He just has to be real. Otherwise, I know nothing. And I know I don't know nothing. So I trust myself enough to know that my experiences were true, and that I do hear the voice of God, and I do feel his presence, and that he does speak to me. And so, but it took me years to be comfortable with that, because most of the time I was just like, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know who God is. What? And it just took like getting into the word and making it a habit and getting familiar with the character of God. And that's where my confidence came from. So did that answer the question? I don't know, but that's what I'm gonna say. So there you go. Okay, someone asked my favorite book of the Bible. Normally I say Hebrews, but I don't know if I necessarily have one favorite now, because I do love the Psalms as well. And I'm basically always reading Psalms. I just like finish it and then start it again because they're just so comforting to me. And then I like this question, favorite person in the Bible. And I've never really considered it, but after this question, I'm like, you know what? I think it's Jonah and Daniel, because they're both very different, have different experiences, but very relatable. Well, one's relatable, one's inspiring. So Jonah is super relatable. Like, I would be afraid to do what God asked me to do then too. And yet God like was with Jonah the whole time and like taught him things about his character that is like, oh God, you're so good. And God's so merciful. So I really like Jonah's story for that reason. And then Daniel is so inspiring, and he just stood by his faith no matter what, and God saw him through, and I am inspired by that. So I would say those dudes. Okay, I think this is the last question. What is a favorite Christian song / hymn / worship song that speaks to you? I'm gonna say Great Are You, Lord. It was originally by All Sons and Daughters. I don't know who else sings it now. Great Are You, Lord, just because I love the verses. I love the chorus and I love the bridge. You bring life, you restore every heart that is broken. And I just sing it with everything in me, and I'm like, God, great are you, God. Like, you're so good that I can like come to you, and he just restores everything, like the restoration. So I love singing that song. I do also love The Stand by Hillsong United. I really like Build My Life by Pat Barrett. That's a good song too. I love the part Open Up My Eyes and Wonder, because I know there's just so much I miss and that I don't realize like just how good God is and how amazing he is. So yeah, I think that's it. I think we did it. If there's not a question I directly answered, it's because I kind of answered it with other questions. So there's that. We did it. Thank you for watching, you guys. I really enjoyed doing this. I look forward to many more years of doing this. I don't really see myself stopping for a while. So yeah, love you guys, and I'll see you next time.